Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about my favorite second chance romance books. I've mentioned many times that I love the trope of a second chance romance. I don't know why, something about seeing couples come back together and try to make it work again for whatever reason. I just really like them. I think it has to do with the fact that I prefer relationships that have history. I like going into a book, having to learn all this backstory about the characters and having the characters like already know each other and already have like a base level relationship or feelings for each other. I feel like second chance romances tend to be the most angsty, which I sometimes love a good angsty romance. A lot of times they give me anxiety and I cannot handle it. But sometimes when I'm in the right mood for it, it's just the best thing ever. So I have a list of some of my favorite second chance romances. Also, I'm really hoping someone doesn't come to the front door because that would be really uncomfortable. All right, so let's just get into my recommendations. The first one is Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. This is about a couple who, when they were teenagers, they were camp counselors over the summer and they had like a summer romance. They fell in love, but they come from very different backgrounds. The girl comes from a very rich family and the guy is like from the wrong side of the tracks. He has kind of a bad home life and he's poor. So once the summer ends, he basically cuts off all communication with her and she is left completely devastated. And now it is like 10 or 11 years later, they're both grown adults and the woman is now like the CEO or vice president, I can't remember, of her father's company. So she's very successful, very well off. And one day she runs into the new security guard at the company and it turns out to be the guy from her summer romance. And he pretends like he doesn't remember her at all. And she's really pissed off. And she has questions that she wants answers to. She wants to know why he totally ghosted her and refused to like speak to her. Yeah, I really loved this. This is only the second book I read by K.A. Tucker, but I have talked about it a lot. I really love her books. I also feel like this kind of reminded me of Rory and Jess, specifically when they were at the summer camp, because the book takes place in both timelines. You flip back and forth between when they were teenagers at the camp and present day. And so the chapters when they were teenagers really reminded me of Rory and Jess from Gilmore Girls. So the next book is Hate to Want You by Alicia Rai. This was the first book that I read by this author and it's what made her one of my favorites. I think this is still my favorite book of hers. It is just like peak angst. It has very much like Romeo and Juliet vibes. It is about these two characters who come from families that were very close. Their grandfathers were like best friends and they started a company together. And when they were teenagers, they dated and then something happened that caused the two families to break apart and the families became like rivals, and because of that they had to break up. During that whole time, something very tragic happened that caused the main character to want to leave home. So she hasn't been home for about 10 years. She's been traveling and she became a tattoo artist. She's had like no contact with her ex except for once a year for one day on her birthday. She sends him coordinates to wherever she's at and he comes and they have one night together and that's it. For the rest of the year, for the rest of the 364 days, they don't talk to each other at all. But just for that one day on her birthday, they see each other. And so the book starts with her coming home for the first time in a really long time and they are kind of thrust back into each other's worlds. And there's a lot of secrets and stuff that comes out about their families and stuff that happened in the past. I really loved this. Like I said, it was like peak angst. It was so angsty and emotional because a lot of really sad things happen, but I just really loved this. I love this whole series in general. All of the couples in the series have history together, so if that's something that you like, this is the perfect series. So the next book is Only for a Night by Naima Simone. I've talked about this a lot, but this is kind of a shorter novella length book that follows this guy who is ex-Irish mob and he left left the mob to open up his own sex club, and one day this girl walks into the club and she was like the one that got away. They dated when they were teenagers, and then he broke up with her and left her devastated, and now she has come into the sex club because her husband recently passed away and they didn't have a really great marriage and they really didn't have a great sex life, so she wants him to open her up to a whole new world. And I really, really loved this. If you're looking for a really steamy novella, I thought this was really great. Not only were the steamy scenes really great, but I also loved the chemistry between the two characters. I really, really felt their romance, and I specifically liked how he was like teaching her, not teaching her how to have sex, but like teaching her how to have good sex. And he like really, they worked their way up to things. Like it was almost like they were going through levels, and it was like once she completed a level, she went to the next level and like kept going. And I just really liked how the progression was great. The next one is Once Ghosted, Twice Shy by Alyssa Cole. This is a novella in the Reluctant Royals series, and it is a female-female romance. It follows the bodyguard from the first book and a romance that she had with someone. This novella takes place in like two timelines. One of them is during the events of the first book in the series, A Princess in Theory, where the prince's bodyguard meets a woman in New York while they're visiting. They hit it off, they have a romance, and then I can't exactly remember why it broke off. I think it was because she went back home to like the prince's kingdom. Now she's back in New York and she's on the subway and they run into each other and they start their romance again and they have a second chance. I really love this. It's a great female-female romance. I'm so glad that Alyssa Cole added this story into it because it was a storyline when I read the first book that I was very much interested in and I wanted to know more about, because it was kind of like a throwaway like comment in the first book. It wasn't really talked about much or explored. I was like really interested in knowing more about it. So I was very excited that she wrote this novella and that we got to see this whole relationship play out and have a second chance. So the last two are both romances that started out as a one-night stand. So the first one is The Right Swipe by Alisha Rai. I know, another Alisha Rai book on this list, but this is about a woman who created a dating app. One day she is using her app and she finds this guy and they meet up, they have an amazing night together, and then he ghosts her. So fast forward to present day, she is trying to acquire another dating service as part of her company, and the new spokesperson for that company turns out to be the guy she had a one-night stand with who ghosted her. So she's like really salty about it. She didn't want to see him. She was very hurt that he like cut off communication with her because they had a great time. And I really, really loved this. I thought the romance was so good, and Alisha Rai just knows how to make me feel for characters. And then the last one, which is another kind of one-night stand, is Intercepted by Alexa Martin. This is about a girl who a long time ago had a one-night stand with a guy, and now she's in a relationship with a professional baseball player. I think it's baseball. Pretty sure it's baseball.
It's literally called Intercepted, and I still said it's about baseball. Okay.
She's in a relationship with this professional baseball player, but he is an asshole. The team gets a new star player, and it turns out to be the guy that she had a one-night stand with a long time ago. Her boyfriend ends up dumping her in like a really rude way, and her and the one-night stand guy start a romance, and it was really cute. I really enjoyed it. I think I read it for Smudathon, but I had a lot of fun reading it. I haven't continued with the series yet, but I definitely want to. I really liked the love interest in this because he was just like a really nice guy, and especially compared to the ex-boyfriend who just sucked, I was like, yes, this nice man, we approve. So those were my second chance romance recommendations. Definitely let me know in the comments any of your favorite second chance romances, because I'm always looking for more. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!